What's up, everybody? Looks like, well, let me not make assumptions. Please let me know that you can see and hear me okay. Hopefully my mic is working and this mic is picking up and not the mic in my computer. Check 1, 2. Everyone let me know. If you're watching the replay, while I wait for people to jump on here live, great. Thank you, Jaden. Awesome. Okay, we're good to go, finally. So, as I was saying, something very exciting to talk to you guys about tonight. And social media is all abuzz with this hit piece that came out on Pastor Rich Tidwell yesterday. And now several people are talking about it, different outlets. Not the Bee did like some kind of like parody of his story and was making fun of him. And this morning when I checked, it literally had over 1 million views on that one story from Protestant. Let me actually make sure I'm getting that right. Let me just go to but I want to talk to you about it and, why this is a great thing and how you can be part of it, how you can help push this movement forward. And that's what we're going to get into. Protestia. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's like protest IA. I guess it's like Protestants. So yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight. And I've been riding high all day. I've been in such a good mood. I actually hoped that Pastor Rich Tidwell was going to be on this call with us today. Him and I were texting this morning, and I didn't hear back from him. So I assume he's got a lot going on naturally with everything that's happening. And so yeah, hopefully tomorrow, maybe the next day, we'll be able to get on a live and hear directly from him. But yesterday he texted me and said something about my first hit piece came out. And I didn't read it, but I did see that, they were like mocking him. They said, Pastor marries second woman and claims it is biblical. They like quote him as if this is some shockingly false statement. And, given the fact that the Bible was written primarily by men with multiple wives, I'm like, are you guys not reading the same Bible I am? How do you say, it's biblical? Like it's this foreign concept. Like polygyny is not literally all over the Bible. But anyway, I just was like, okay, so what I did was when he texted me, I actually posted on all my social media. I messaged the guys in the Man of Options program, and I just kind of try to rally everybody to go defend Pastor Rich, because there are a lot of people out there that know the truth. More and more people are speaking up about it, for sure. But there are people that are aware of the truth that they don't talk about it just because, it's just, they don't want the negativity. They don't want the backlash. Maybe they just don't want to draw the attention to themselves. And I get it. Trust me. I get it. I mean, I've suffered plenty from this, but my thought, even when I started doing this, was because in 23 years, I never heard one person mention this. Not in 23 years of following Jesus. And I was so plugged into the church and I'm all over social media, and I didn't hear anyone ever talk about it. God, I wish I had, man, because my life, it would have changed my life. I mean, I would have kids and, I'm great. I'm very happy with where I'm at right now, but I didn't have to go through that. So I wish somebody had told me. I wish somebody would have just mentioned it. I would have saw it on social media. I just heard about it. So when I started doing this, and I was like, man, I got to blow the whistle on this because of what it cost me. But my thought is like, I know I'm going to get attacked, but I actually thought the more vicious the attack, the better, because I thought there's people that know this is true, and they're not speaking up because they don't want to, suffer for it. They don't want to suffer the backlash. But if they come at me hard enough, I think those people might stand up and start saying things. That's what I thought. So, God did something way better. He actually elevated a pastor to know this truth, to boldly proclaim it. Hats off to Rich Tidwell. And then I believe that he's provoked these people to come after him and mock him, because there's no such thing as bad press. This is a great thing for the movement. Never before in like modern history I don't think that was this being discussed as much as it is right now. And that's what excited me so much this morning was when I woke up and I went on X and I saw all the people in the comments and I was like, there were so many people defending the truth. And I was like, yes, people are learning, they're being educated. Look, naturally, people are going to come against it and they're going to come against it hard. But we need to remember that these people are our brothers and sisters. They are our Christian brothers and sisters. And I know I'm not the kindest person in the comments. I'm not saying that you have to be, because sometimes, engaging with them creates more, trips the algorithm and gets more views. And then sometimes when people come at me and name call and personal attack, it actually gets other people to kind of step in and stand up for me. And then the truth is being shared. So anyway, I'm rambling a little bit, but yesterday when Rich texted me that, I posted on all the social media and texted the guys in the program. And I said, go in there, get in the comments and defend him, educate these Pharisees. And that's, some of our guys did, but a lot more people that, some of the people that follow me on X, a lot of people that I've never heard of before, but so many people are standing for truth right now. And this is amazing, guys. I mean, this is the moment. This is the moment that we've all worked for, that we've prayed for, that we waited for. It's happening right now. And that saying from Gandhi, first they ignore you, then they mock you, or first they ignore you, then they mock you, then they fight you, and then you win. So right now we are moved from the ignoring phase and we're somewhere between the mocking and the fighting phase. So after that comes, then we win, right? So this is really good. This is such a great thing for the movement. I've seen so many people in the comments, like everybody, Bible marriages. Thank you for, educating people and all the work you do. Pete Rambo is in the comments. So many others, jumped in there. Redpill Christian guy, my program, Maverick Marquez, he's super smart. And, I just couldn't be more excited. So I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to go take a look at the X post and, we're going to take a look at some of these comments and see what people had to say. So feel free to drop a comment, a question, any thoughts that you have on what's going on. Do you think this is good or bad? I'd be curious to hear from you. Some people, they perceive this as not being a good thing. I personally think it's a great thing. With what the enemy meant for evil, God will use for good. I promise you that. So let's see the Protestant article here. So Protestant pastor announces he has 2 wives, claims polygamy is biblical. That's how they quoted it. So let's just see what the article says. So Pastor Rich actually posted his own article today called "Should Polygamists Be Allowed in Church?" And I would encourage everybody to go out and read that. I think I shared it in my stories, which is, what I think the answer to that is. But I just got back from a podcast. I did a 2-hour podcast with these young guys not far from where I live in Baltimore. And they were, this was a new concept to them, but they were Christian guys. And they were just like, wow. They said, we were going to try to basically come, oppose you, but they're like, you have us convinced. But what did I say? Oh, and what I said to them is, to back to Rich's article, should polygamists be allowed in church? Is the wild thing is, I think I skimmed the article and he talked about how, Jacob and David, if they were to come to the churches, they would be kicked out. They wouldn't be welcome in. They wouldn't, and they definitely couldn't be in leadership according to these BS standards from 1 Timothy 3:2, which is wild. But we are in the process of changing all that. It's only a matter of time before the church as a whole is really forced to confront this issue. And I think that in our lifetime, and probably in the next few years, we will see churches have to admit that this isn't a sin. And some of the churches will open their arms to families that are practicing this. That's my belief. So, before we get into the article, I just want to see if we got any. Fatness says that let all things work for good, and He also said definitely a good thing. Oh, Cyrus is here. What's up, Cyrus? So anyway, the article, it says, Rich Tidwell is the pastor of Ormond Church, a small non-denominational gathering in Camp, Missouri that was founded more than a decade ago. According to his website, he is husband, father, YouTube apologist, and a passionate follower of the way. Married to his wife, Brandy, for more than 14 years. They have 7 children together, some adopted. He believes proper hermeneutics are derived from examining original languages, cultural context, and multiverse coherence. At first glance, everything looks pretty normal, but a quick perusal of his Instagram account instantly raises eyebrows with this announcement from this past June, where Tidwell dropped this blockbuster. So here's the big announcement. My name is Rich Tidwell. I have 2 beautiful wives, and my second wife is expecting my 8th child. We're thrilled for what the Lord has done for our family. So going back, guys, I don't know if you remember when he came out with this, I actually posted it on social media and was just like, dude, this is amazing. We actually have someone in ministry that's not doing it in hiding. He is doing it boldly, loud and proud. He's standing up for truth. And, you know, even with whatever risk that comes with, he's taking it. So I really applaud Rich for doing this. And I don't know if you guys have seen, had him on my podcast last year, and this was before he took a second wife, but we talked about 1 Timothy 3:2 and how that doesn't mean what people say it means, that a man is unfit for leadership if he has 2 wives. It means husband of first wife. So it means he can't be divorced. So anyway, go back and check that out. I think it's like episode 96, maybe. I don't know. You can find it on my channel pretty easily if you type in my name and his. All right. So he says, the article says, this announcement of having acquired a new wife was followed up with an article on his website on biblical polygamy, whereas he writes, in 2019, I discovered the surprising fact that God not only never prohibited polygamy throughout the entire Bible narrative, as he did with polyandry or homosexuality, he divinely ordained it in several cases, including David, 2 Samuel 12, 7 and 8, Jacob, Genesis 30, 18, and Joash, 2 Chronicles 24, 2 through 3, among others. In contrast with homosexuality, which is outright prohibited, Leviticus 18, 22, you guys can look this up. God lawfully regulated the practice of plural marriage. Mark and avoid. So this is what they say next. Mark and avoid this church for sure. So that's it. That's how they end the article. Wow. I didn't read the article. So they just say, this is what he said. Avoid this church for sure. Which is wild, right? Like he actually listed all the verses where God endorsed polygyny, and they didn't even address it. Don't you find that wild? You know, so I got a message from Rich Cooper. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he wrote a book called The Unplugged Alpha. And he sent me a screenshot in which Tristan Tate made a comment about something about if your provider, talking about, a man, if your provider cheats, I thought he said cheats on you. Actually, I have it right here. Let me just tell you so I don't make sure I don't butcher it. So Tristan Tate said, girls who can't overlook their provider cheating on them are immature. And then Sovereign Bra, guy that goes by Sovereign Bra, like bra, and his name is Chase. I don't know his last name, but he's got a pretty big following. He's been on the Whatever podcast and some other things. The guy said, you need to find Jesus, man. And then Rich Cooper, of all people, says, you need to find original scripture, man. So first off, there's a couple things I want to say about that. Rich Cooper is not even a believer, and he's now confronting people saying there's no scripture to back up what you're saying, which is pretty cool. I've been saying for a while that if this comes out, if polygyny becomes accepted in the church, we're going to see a lot of men that we wouldn't have thought come to Jesus, because a lot of the things that are keeping them away is this false doctrine. Maybe not consciously, but unconsciously, because we've tied monogamy only so tightly to Christianity. There's men that just know they can't do it and they have no desire to do it, so they don't come to church. They don't come to Jesus. We've actually shut the door of heaven in their face. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So Rich sent me a screenshot of this and he said, would you be up for debating Chase? And I said, absolutely. I would love to. So this guy's a Christian and he's, mainstream, and he's going to say that polygyny is wrong or whatever. But Supposedly, Rich hasn't heard back from him yet, and we're waiting. But I hope to. But the point is what I told Rich is that this thing is completely indefensible using scripture. You can't defend it. You can't defend the monogamy only argument using scripture, which is why, if you read this article by Protesta, they didn't even try because there's no verses calling it sin. So what they're relying on is tradition. They're relying on culture to be like, because everybody's been taught monogamy. So of course we're right. Like we don't even have to address it with scripture. We don't have to defend it, which isn't, obviously wrong. So good. Sion said, I think Tristan Tate listed out all the patriarchs in the Bible with multiple wives as well. That's awesome. Now, in Tristan's case, I hope he's not just pumping and dumping. I hope he's actually, marrying these women or committing to them, which I'm not sure if that's the case. But again, if he was shown a righteous path, maybe he would take it, because I believe that a lot of men want peace with God. If you show them a righteous way to have that and still be able to express their natural desire for variety, I think many of them will take it. So it's good stuff, guys. I mean, hopefully this debate goes through, because I do feel like it's getting on bigger and bigger people's radar. And this is a trending topic now. And I think as more people talk about it, even if it's just a small percentage of people that hear about it, they go and research it, they're going to find the truth. At least if they have, somewhat of an open mind and they're not so conditioned through, the indoctrination, that they will see the truth if they really want to know the truth. Thank you for that. What do they call that? Super chat. Thank you. I really appreciate that. True Hall of Fame builds. You said showing love. Thank you so much. So, that was kind of it. I just wanted to encourage. So this is what I wanted to say, actually. Go into the comments. If you're someone who's aware of this truth, and if you're watching this, I assume that you are, because most of the people that are tuning into me are aware of this truth. Go on X and get in the comments and start educating people. There's so many people that read the comments that don't speak up. So yeah, there's a lot of people speaking against it, but there's a lot more people that are reading the comments and not commenting. They're not saying anything. And this is how it spreads. BiblicalMarriage does a great job of this. He's always in the comments providing really good answers. Tom Shipley, who's on my Instagram, great dude, super smart. Maverick is another one that I just mentioned. There's a lot of smart people, and if I start naming them, I'm going to leave people out. But I would encourage you guys to get into the comments and just educate people, because this is new for them. What bothers me though sometimes is the fact that they come at you so hard and they're so wrong, right? Like I said to Rich, I said, wait till they find out. Because they're acting, they're so sure that they're right and they're not right. They're wrong. But the thing is they haven't even researched it. That's what kills me. Is like they haven't even checked into it, and then they come at you so hard, making fun of you. They put a little, I don't know if you saw the thing that Not the Bee did, but they like put like a clown wig and a nose on Rich. And I'm like, wait till they find out how stupid they're going to feel, And what does the Bible say about mockers? It's not good, right? And that's what these people are. They're mockers. So I'm not suggesting that we do that necessarily. We don't need to, call them names and, personal attacks and all that. But I would encourage everybody to get in the comments and drop some knowledge on these people, because this is how it spreads. I believe that we are in the midst of, the fulfillment of Isaiah 4:1. We're going to see it in our lifetime, and it's already started. So I just, really kind of wanted to talk quickly about that. Hopefully I'll be able to get Rich on the live tomorrow. We'll come on here and talk about how he's doing. I know he's went through quite a bit with his family. I believe that I believe that the authorities were called back in his home state of Florida. Like somebody called the police on him, and then he was buying a house in Kansas City. And I believe the person that was selling the house found out about his two wives and basically said, no, we're not going to sell you the house. So I know he's going through it. So, maybe if you guys are friends with him on Instagram, you can drop him a message and let him know that you're thinking about him and praying for him. If you're trying to find the article in Protesta, you can go to his account on X. It's at Rich Tidwell, and you can find it there. And there's a lot of people that have been chiming in. There's other people that have done articles, too many to even name, to be honest. Pete Rambo, he said something about how encouraged he was because there were so many people standing for biblical truth. And I was like, yeah, it's really wild. Like, when I scrolled through it this morning and I saw how many people were pushing back, posting Martin Luther quotes. I mean, he is the father of the Protestant church, the protest. And he posts that, I confess that I cannot forbid a person to marry several wives, for it does not contradict scripture. And, somebody shared that as a comment, and it's got 11,000 views and 130 hearts. So this is being talked about, guys. The truth is getting out, and it's amazing. So what we need to do is we need to keep the pedal down, and we need to keep our heads up. Don't, that's what I told Rich, at least, don't let the negative Nancy's get to you. Don't let the critics, affect your mood. I said, what's happening right now is a huge life accomplishment. The fact that this is on Christians' radar, many of them for the very first time. So, you guys know I got this program called Man of Options, where we got about 25 guys that are believers that are pursuing biblical marriage in some capacity or another. Some of the guys are single, looking for their first wife. Many guys have one wife looking for a second. Some guys already have two wives and are just, not kind of passively seeking a third, but more just wanting to know how to walk it out better. And what was I going to say with that? What were we talking about? I lost my train of thought there. Gosh, I just lost that. All right. Well, that's it. I'm not going to talk too long. It's getting late. But yeah, go over, show Pastor Rich Tidwell some love. Jump in the comments if you are inclined to do so, and let's keep spreading the truth. And I'll see you guys. I'm going to try to go live tomorrow. I want to re-record the news story that I went over yesterday, and that was about a study. They did this massive study of all these countries, 30 different countries, I believe, millions of families. And it was about how where polygyny is accepted and legalized, that there's fewer unmarried men. That means there's more men, a higher percentage of men are actually married in those countries. So it kind of debunks the whole, there won't be enough women to go around. There'll be a bunch of unmarried men. There's actually more men that are married where polygyny is accepted. So shocking. God is right. So anyway, I'll try to do that tomorrow, but have a great night, and I'll see y'all on the next one.